was a subdued Monday morning press conference here at BYU as the Cougar football team discussed the blowout loss against Utah. I'm Jared Lloyd, BYU football reporter for the Daily Herald and also Cougarblue.com, here with Jason Franchuk, BYU football columnist. Jason, what did you take from today's press conference?
That was quiet. That was not the most positive press conference BYU's held. I mean, Bronco sounded tired. He looked a little beat down, obviously, from the weekend. Jake Heaps is fighting a cold. It's not the environment that you kind of expect. And Jake Heaps said that through 3 games, they did not expect to be in this position. They did not expect to be struggling so much moving the football and scoring points. And this is a team that continues to go through the season, simply not find answers that we knew were a problem even at Ole Miss on September 3rd. It's turning into quite the struggle. In Central Florida, like we'll talk about, is not a bad team. They're not a big name opponent, but it's a team that could come in here and cause some problems.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing about it is this is a young team. You know, has a lot of sophomores in key positions. It's got a lot of young coaches that are in their first real opportunity taking control of certain areas, and I think they're struggling a little bit there. What do you think this team has to do to kind of bounce back from this big defeat to Utah?
Well, they need to find a way to get a running game. We've talked about that a number of times. The blocking isn't there, but simply teams are not threatened by BYU's running game. And Brandon Doman talked Saturday after the game. You've got to find the running back first, and then you've got to fit the scheme around the running back. And none of that is working right now. And frankly, Jared, I think they're caught off guard, just like I think a lot of media and a lot of fans are, that it is this much of a pain. You know, you talk to players and even the defensive players, that we knew the defense was going to be decent even coming out of fall camp, which is kind of a surprise for as many guys as they had to replace. We knew the front 7 would be pretty good, but they're having to carry this team right now, and I don't think anybody anticipated that. So it is such a striking difference from what anybody could have anticipated. I think they're reeling right now because of it. And you talk about the coaches, I think that's a very valid point, to bring in a receivers coach who's never even coached before, to bring in another running backs coach. Joe Dupay is struggling with that unit, and you know, I think maybe it's overplayed. Should Brandon Doman be in the press box? Jake Heaps told me that's not as big a deal. He can see the field fine. He's calling the plays right, but there's not many guys who do it, and it's going to be interesting. You asked a great question, Jared, today about what do they do now as far as, do they spin this wheel too much at this point? How much of this 1-2 team is a bad team and how much just needs to be tweaking? But they've talked about tweaks enough, and this is the first time they did not talk about tweaking and little things. I'll say that.
Well, after a loss like that, there's no doubt that there's a lot of question marks, and there's a lot of things that BYU has to do better as they get ready to host Central Florida. Friday game this week at 6 p.m. We'll be at LaVell Edwards Stadium for that one to see if this BYU team can bounce back and play better against the Knights than they did against the Utes.